topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hi, welcome to my show, Learning to Dance in the Rain. I'm Shelby Wagner, and I'm the host of the show. It's based on my book called the same name, Learning to Dance in the Rain. Hope you take a look at it on Amazon sometime, and maybe you'll buy it from me. I bring you talks and experts to talk about life issues, some of the tough problems challenges that we all experience at one time or another, in hopes that we can help you handle a problem that is bothering you right now. Today I'm on my own, and I have been scammed several times. I'm a victim of several of them. And that's going to be the rain today. And somehow we're going to get through them, and we're going to learn how to be resilient despite. But you know what? The information that I give can keep you from falling victim to these scams. And that's my goal. And we can dance if that happens. You realize that that is a scam and you don't go there. I got this morning on my phone, Michigan residents, emerging scam, I guess in Detroit, where they have all those sports and things. People are putting up signs for parking in places that are not really good places for you to park. In fact, you think you're getting a real deal. And so you buy and pay for the parking in that spot. And you come back and you find out maybe your car's missing or it's been broken into. So be careful. If you're going to those sports events, park where you know it's safe, and don't give these fraudsters your money. Another thing I want to remind people about is how to spot email scams quickly. Do you get any of those in your email? Well, because I was a victim of scams, my name is on the suckers list, I guess, and I get tons of them. But I got special from PayPal, and PayPal says how to spot emails quickly. And it says there, if you receive a communication, a call, a text, or an email that you think may not really be from PayPal, do not respond, and do not share any personal information. Don't click on the links, and don't open an attachment. Simply forward it to phishing@paypal.com. And phishing is spelled PHISHING. PayPal wants to know if their name is being used illegally in a scam. Here's one. Be cautious if the mail doesn't use your full name and has a generic greeting of hello there or something like that. If it has incorrect logos, designs, or just looks strange, ignore it or send it to either to PayPal. Contains suspicious website links, includes attachments and software. They're just wanting you to click in it so they can get information that they want from you. And it says to be wary of any person that is urgently asking you for money. Um, Scams often create a false sense of urgency, and watch out for offers that seem too good to be true. Scammers lie and they make false promises. Never, ever provide your personal credit card or account on emails, text, or phone. And it's really, really kind of hard because you get this thing. I get this scary thing in the mail, and right away, the text that said, "Oh, your computer is going to be locked up, and you've got to click on this telephone number." Don't do it because it's a scam. Let's see. I have another one that was talking about sextortion, and it's getting, oh golly, it comes in lots of different ways. But what if you got an email that says, "I sent this email from your email account"? And then it says, "I've been watching you," and accuses you of looking at inappropriate websites and maybe doing inappropriate things. Do you know what? It's a scam. Yeah, just really makes you feel bad, really rains on your parade, but it is a scam. And you need to just uh, ignore it, or um, put it in the scam folder. It was telling me also that AI can put your face on anybody's body, and that body might be nude or indecent, whatever. And especially our teenagers, boys are um, being hit up for sextortion. So be careful with that. Even if you fall for something like that, you know, and you take a picture of yourself on the internet, you don't know where it's going. You don't know what somebody's going to do later on. And there's so many times they come back and they want you to do something illegal, and some money laundering, perhaps. Um, there's a story that I got today. Let's see if I can find it. It was about an interview with Jean. And Jean is her, um, not her real name, but it says Jean lives in the Midwest, and she's smart. She's done well for herself. The kind of woman that you think would spot a scam a mile away. But that's not her picture here that was given. It's what the writer envisioned her looking like after talking to her. This fraud blindsided her, and 4 years later, it's still haunting her. I know it's still my experience with cybercrime, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, blindsided me also, and it's still haunting me. But here, it started with a man online. She was lonely. He was charming and attentive, said all the right things. And Jean, like so many others, was pulled in by the connection. When he asked for help moving some money, she said sure, thinking she was doing a favor for somebody she cared about. Then came the big ask. Could she help him turn a pile of cash into Bitcoin? It was urgent, complicated, and she was the only one he could trust. I've heard that before, believe me. Over time, Jean moved $300,000 in cash to Bitcoin for him. She didn't know it, but she had just become a money mule in a massive scam. Yep, mule is what they called it. The fallout was catastrophic. The Secret Service raided her home, and she's now under indictment for money laundering. She's facing 29 years in prison and up to $500,000 in fines. She lost $200,000 of her own money to the scammer, and now she has spent $250,000 in legal fees trying to stay out of prison. This wasn't just a scam, it was a full-blown takedown of her life. And here's what you need to know learn from Jean's story. 1, never send money or move money for someone you've never met in real life, period. If you haven't shared fries and made awkward eye contact in person, you definitely should not be sharing your routing numbers. 2, if somebody asks you to convert cash into Bitcoin, run. That's a favorite trick of scammers. Once that crypto's gone, it's gone. Your money is gone. 3, urgency. Urgency is a clue. And don't tell anyone. This has to happen right now. If the words urgent wire transfer come up before the first in-person date, run. That's not love. That's manipulation. Or watch where they want to talk. If they try to get you onto WhatsApp, Signal, or Telegram early in the conversation, it's a huge red flag. These apps are often used by scammers to stay anonymous. And the last one is trust, but verify. Do a reverse image search. Talk to a friend. Send me a note, and I'll tell you straight. Love is blind, but your browser isn't, so use it. Jean is brave for sharing her story with us. She's doing it in hopes that you don't fall into the same trap. Her pain might just save you or someone else. Why not share this story on your social media now? Isn't that something? It was just a few months ago that we read about a woman in the same condition. The same thing happened to her, and her body was found floating in the river, the Mississippi River, I think it was. So you're going to lose money. You're going to possibly even lose your life if you are not careful who you talk to on the web. And it seems like you know them, you chat with them a long, long time. And it seems like they're your best friend. But you don't know who that person is on that other camera if you haven't met them in real life. So be careful. Here's the latest report I just saw this morning. It's on Reuters, Reuters.com. And it was called $1 Billion Cyberscam Industry Spreads Globally. Actually, it says down the bottom, it's spreading like a cancer. The summary of it was massive scam centers emerged in Southeast Asia. I talked about that a few weeks ago. Gangs move within and beyond the region to escape crackdowns, and the United Nations says this crisis is at an inflection point. I'm going to read parts of it to you. It's by Poppy McPlum, actually, on Reuters. Asian crime syndicates behind the multi-billion-dollar cyber scam industry are expanding globally into South America and Africa as raids in Southeast Asia fail to contain their activity, the United Nations said in a report on Monday. Criminal networks that emerged in Southeast Asia in recent years opening sprawling compounds that house tens of thousands of workers, many trafficked and forced to scam victims around the world, have evolved into sophisticated global industry. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime reported. Even as Southeast Asian governments have intensified a crackdown, syndicates have moved within and beyond the region, the agency said, adding that, quote, potentially irreversible spillover has taken place, leaving criminal groups free to pick, choose, and move as needed. It spreads like a cancer, said Benedict Hoffman, the UNODC acting regional representative for Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Authorities treat it in one area, but the roots never disappear. They simply migrate. Conservative estimates indicate that there are hundreds of large-scale scam farms around the world generating tens of billions of dollars in annual profits. The agency called on countries to work together and to intensify efforts to disrupt the gang's finances. The regional cyber fraud industry has outpaced other transnational crimes given that it is easily scalable and able to reach millions of potential victims online with no need to move or traffic illicit goods across the borders. You know, these scammers, they befriend us, uh, make us feel that we know them really well, and maybe we fall in love with them. And then they introduce us to, or maybe, well, first of all, they find out through talking with you what it is that you need or want. And then they turn that around then and use it on you. So you got to really be careful what you tell strangers. You really do. The United States alone reported more than $5.6 billion in losses to cryptocurrency scams in 2023. And that includes $4 billion in what they call pig butchering scams or romance scams that are designed to extort money often from elderly and vulnerable people. Now, what is pig butchering? Well, just like the pigs, they fatten them up, they feed them, make them feel good, and then they slaughter them. And that's what the um, Asian or Japanese, Chinese people call uh, their clients. They are, and what they are doing, they call it pig butchering. And they share notes on how if one of them is not being successful getting money out of their particular client, then they share ideas with other people that are there, with other scammers, and really work at trying to get you to do what? Give them your money for investments. You think you're investing in something. That's what the pig butchering is. You think that your money is going to grow. I had quite a bit of debt, and I was talking to someone I met online. It wasn't even a dating site. Sorry about that. It wasn't even a dating site. I hope that you're not hearing that, but I got to get rid of this. Sorry about that. I usually turn it off. There we go. Now I found it. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. So anyway, I had incurred quite a bit of debt, and I was hoping that investing. He said he had made enough money to buy a house for his mother. I mean, gee whiz, that sounded innocent and nice, didn't it? Too good to be true. Yeah, it was. So, and then when I found out that I had lost that money, another one came along and found out I had lost the money. So he had a good idea of how to get it back for me. Well, instead of getting it back, I lost more. So luckily, I was smart enough not to accept any money from them and put it in the Bitcoin or whatever it was. There were several requests. Oh, they wanted me to open a bank account for them here in the States. They were out of the country and they were having trouble getting their money. And they wanted me to do that. I said, no, I'm not doing that. Thank God, or I would have been in the position of one of these two women, the one who's facing prison, the other one maybe who lost her life. So thank God I did not do that part. I didn't do anything that harmed other people, but I sure harmed myself. And it's been a rough, it's been a rough 5 years, 3 to 5 for me. I guess that's where I learned resilience, though, because I uh, developed a new habit, and that habit happens to be dancing. And I also started writing. And so I turned my negative energy into more positive energy because I wanted to help other people so that they would not have to go through what I went through. Um, let's see, that first the first romance scam happened in 17 and it's now 25. That's 8 years ago. And I've kind of kept it alive by writing the book about it. But um, for a long, long, long time, that was the elephant in the room, no matter where I went with where my family was, because I didn't intend for them to find out about it. And of course, once they did find out about it, it was um, the bank called them, my daughter, and so the cat was out of the bag before I ever left the bank. But it was lucky that she did, because that's another thing is how do you deal with a parent or a friend that you know is being scammed. And one of the first things is you don't yell at them and why did you do that, mother? They're scamming you. That's a scam. Um, yes, you're going to be angry, but they're not going to believe you either unless they have some proof. Um, I thought I was in love with a guy, an engineer that was working on oil wells out in the Pacific, and he was writing me things, telling me things, and so my daughter, actually my son-in-law, was pretty sure that it was a scam. So he oil rig scam. So he went in search of them, and then he brought his cell phone up to me to read what he had found. And what I was reading on this website about life as an engineer on an oil rig was not the same as what this guy was telling me. So slowly it became real to me that, yeah, this was another scam. So I got out of that one. I stopped writing to him and right away and blocked him. Uh, and boy, I don't know why I attracted so many scams in the beginning. I guess maybe it was my age. I was in the 70s. I was lonely. So I was on a dating site. So that meant that I was a good prospect, I guess. I want to get back to this. I think in one of my previous episodes about pig butchering, I talked about this compound that was in Myanmar, which is in Southeast Asia, and that had gone from just a little small, uh, what do you call it, town that had very small, very few businesses and so on, to a gigantic, um, thriving community, it looked like, with tall buildings for apartments and a casino it was, and all of this. I mean, it suddenly went. I was the best I can think of is Las Vegas, but it was even bigger than that. I mean, well, anyway, so here it was. It says in recent months, authorities in China, where many of the gangs originate, Thailand and Myanmar, have led a crackdown on scam operations in the lawless areas of the Myanmar border, with Thailand cutting the power to them and the fuel and internet supply to areas housing scam compounds. So we thought that people in these areas, the governments and so on, were not doing anything about it. But here they did. They cut the power and the fuel, the internet access, and so they had to move their um, operations to other remote, vulnerable, underprepared parts of South Asia, and that included Laos and Cambodia and Myanmar and beyond. And they're exploiting jurisdictions with weak governance and high rates of corruption, said the United Nations. Raids in parts of Cambodia where the industry is most visible led to significant expansion in more remote locations, including the country's western Ko Kong province, as well as areas bordering on Thailand and Vietnam. Cambodian government spokesman said that the country is among the victims of the cyber fraud industry and is committed to fighting it. They're addressing the issue by strengthening law enforcement, developing a legislative framework, and increasing collaboration with partner nations to overcome this complex problem. We need collaboration, not blame. Syndicates have expanded into South Africa, seeking to enhance money laundering and underground banking partnerships with South American drug cartels. They are increasingly establishing operations in Africa, Zambia, Angola, and Namibia, and Eastern Europe, including Georgia. Gangs have also rapidly diversified their workforce, recruiting people from dozens of nationalities, reflecting on scam targets across the globe, and has sought to evade anti-trafficking efforts. Now, trafficking, what does that mean? That means actually kidnapping people, young people that are or old people looking for jobs. They see a very nice job in the paper or wherever, and they advertise for it, and they send a resume to it thinking it's a legal job, and then when they get there they find out that they are being enslaved and have to do something that they don't want to do. But that story was in the Reuters.com. If you wanted to find, they have pictures of the compound, one of the compounds, and they have pictures of thousands of young people on a ship that are being transported to another location. And it looks, oh wow, they look very interesting, very whatever. But if you look in the front, all these uniformed guards are watching to make sure that they don't escape. So let's see. All this I brought to you today. Does that make you feel bad? Oh boy, it sure has made me feel bad. I gotta think. So how do we get out of that funk that we just now got in? I don't know, but the more we talk about scams and the psychological effects on victims, um, it's more than people think, because once you realize that these people lied to you, you've lost a dream of a happy future life together. Um, and you have to cut off all contact with them because the person is really not real. I mean, it's not what has said that he is or she. And there are women that do the same to men. It's not just women that are scammed, men are too. And a lot of people are too embarrassed to talk about it. And that makes it worse. But anyway, we blame ourselves too. Well, golly, how could I have done such a stupid thing? I remember back on my incident with the cyber crime. It was pig butchering, because the money that they want used to be a wire transfer, but and then it was buying gift cards, and I bought a few of those and sent them the numbers. Um, but you think, how could I have done that? I don't know, but I look at the positive side. At least I didn't get into the money laundering. I'm trying to talk to you to help you keep from investing your money in something that really is not what you want it to be. Um, I talk about the money laundering. Well, this one guy, he was going to pay me back he had an inheritance, and he was going to send me a trunk full of gold bars. And I was to um, keep that for him until he came back to the States. I could take whatever it was I was supposed to take out of it to pay me back for what I sent to him. Did that sound right to you? No, it didn't sound right to me either, but I did it. I gave him my address. And then what happened? Well, and then he knew where we lived, and my family, I was living with them, and they were scared and I was scared. But life goes on, and now it's 8 years later, 5 years later for the other one, and I'm fine. I'm pouring my energy, be a fraud fighter. I hear that. And member of the Operation Shamrock, trying to uh, let people know how, what is going on. I said 8 years ago this was like a pandemic. Now they're calling it a cancer. The United Nations had called it spreads like a cancer. Yeah, when I wrote my first book about being scammed, it was $145 million, 2017. 145 million, and now it's $5.6 billion. Woo! Sounds kind of like the well, I'm not going to get into politics, but boy, how much in debt are we there? Several trillion now. Didn't even know there was that much money in the whole wide world, but I guess it is. So anyway, that's my talk for today. Anybody have any questions? What do you know? Well, if you think you're being scammed in a PayPal scam, send it to phishing@paypal.com. Um, you can notify the owners of the station that hosts your email. In FBI. What is it? FBI.IC, I believe, is the URL for getting to them. But anyway, I thank you for being with me today, and I guess I'm done. I hope you will go to Amazon and take a look at my books and buy them. I have 3 up there: Learning to Dance in the Rain, Surviving Grief, Internet Dating, and Romance Scams. It's in the 3rd edition. That was my first book. And the second one was Scams. It outlines or details 150 different ways people try to trick you to get your money. And my newest one is Finding Love Online, a guide to internet dating. And I'm trying to get my 4th one published on KDP as we speak. And it's called Left Foot Dance Anyway. And that's where we get our dancing, learn to dance in the rain, learn to dance in the sunshine. Just dance, because it is good for your health. You get a better workout than you do in the gym, because in the gym you're exercising the same parts of your body, with different times, but when you're dancing, you're exercising every part of your body at one time. And I tell you, the friends I have made since my husband died and I moved back to Michigan, the friends I have made because of dancing, the social connections that are there, most of them. Then, of course, there's my church, and I play the music there. So I have, of course, made friends there too. But I love to dance, and I love to be around the other people that enjoy the music as well. So, Rebel, I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope that all of you will buy my book and listen and be back next week.